the School of Information at USF.
Technology, information, people.
Tonight, our Al Smith lecture, at long last, is Mr. C.J. Roberts. And I'll do a brief introduction here. I'm very honored to have him here this year as our lecturer. As many of you know, many of our students are interested in museums, they come with some background in museums, or interested in applying their efforts to that area. And I think there's always been a strong relationship throughout the years between librarians and libraries and museums and librarians and museum curators and professionals. So I think it's very fitting to have Mr. Roberts here with us tonight. I'll read a little bit of his background, but I don't want to take up too much time for this talk. He came to the Tampa Bay area having successfully directed 3 important history museums. He served as the Chief Administrative Officer responsible for the development of the National D-Day Museum in New Orleans through its opening ultimately in 2000. From September 2000, he served as President and CAO of the 98 Air Force Museum in Savannah, Georgia, and as the Director of the George C. Marshall Museum in Lexington. He had a number of successful initiatives related to that museum there, including to retain nearly $13 million worth of bond debt over 4 years within the institution completely debt free. Is that right? To retire that debt? I'm sorry, not retain it. So in 2005, he was chosen to spearhead the Tampa History Center's museum to become the only comprehensive regional history museum and education center on the west coast of Florida. The Tampa Bay History Center is a nonprofit, as you all know, educational institution in downtown Tampa that seeks to preserve and teach the remarkable history of our community. CJ brought the unique blend of a leader with experience in business, museum, and public interface, as well as the fundraising experience that was necessary to open the new museum in 2008. I think his previous leadership positions, he has generated, as proven in his previous leadership positions, he was able then to generate more than $25 million to help in opening this project. Upon hiring CJ, the chairman of the board of the trustees, George Howell, said of him, "We are thrilled that the Tampa Bay History Center was able to attract the high caliber of talent and experience which CJ brings to the position. He has the full support of our board, and we're confident he will quickly earn the confidence and respect of our community." So without further ado, and to let him get on with his discussion this evening, I'm very proud to present CJ Roberts.
Well, thank you all very much. It is it's a pleasure to be here. I'm humbled. I'm delighted. I want to offer my congratulations to the award winners, the inductees tonight as well. It's been a real privilege to be part of this. It's been fun to visit with old friends and meet new friends. And one of the things that I sincerely hope will come out of this is that we'll build even stronger bridges between this program and the Tampa Bay History Center. So what I want to do is spend a little bit of time talking to you about the Tampa Bay History Center. What is this place all about? How did it come into being? What do we do? And then I want to talk to you about this unique and highly successful relationship that we have with the University of South Florida Libraries, specifically the Florida Studies Center. And I suspect, just out of curiosity, how many of you have been to the Tampa Bay History Center? Okay, that's not too bad. And how many of you have heard of the partnership that we have with USF Libraries? That's pretty good. All right. Well, for those of you who haven't, you're going to learn a little bit more about it. So let's just jump into it here. All right. Probably surprised you with this. I put this in here because this is my speech, and I could, and I didn't. This is a nice way to introduce the History Center's tagline. The tagline for the History Center is exactly what you didn't expect. From the very beginning, we knew that we wanted to build a different kind of history museum experience. Too often, history museums are perceived as dull, boring, stuffy kinds of places, and too often they are. We didn't want to do that. The history of this area is rich. It deserves to be celebrated. It deserves to be told in a way that's fun and engaging. These are shots from last weekend. This is our newest traveling exhibition. It's called Out of This World, Hollywood Costumes from Film and Television. Star Wars, Star Trek, a lot of sci-fi kind of materials. Indiana Jones's leather jacket is part of this show from the Raiders movies. The wizard's hat from The Wizard of Oz. It is a little bit of a departure from our mission, but one of the reasons we're bringing in this show is to help reach out to a broader audience. And by golly, if people come to see Darth Vader, and along the way they learn about Anfilo de Narvaez or Vicente Ybor or some of the other great stories we have to tell, then mission accomplished. So we're proud of this show, and I hope you will come and see it. It is on exhibit through January 7th. And to help incentivize you and encourage you to come see the show, I put a free pass on everybody's chair. And if you'll do me the return favor of bringing a friend when you come, then we all win. So, all right, now the serious part. The first time that we see any call to action from anywhere trying to create, and if I don't stand by the mic, everybody can hear me, I assume, because I hate to be sort of tethered to the calling for an effort to preserve the area's rich history. The first time is this quote. It appeared in a letter to the editor in a Tampa newspaper, and I'm just going to quickly read it to you. It says, "No time should be lost in snatching the historical artifacts from the waste and death of oblivion. Many are already gone, and the balance are fast wasting away. Is there no man or body of men in the county to gather these precious relics? How long will it be before not another vestige of the history of those days will remain, unless speedily rescued from irretrievable loss by the men and women of the present day? Who shall do it?" What's remarkable, and what I find inspiring about this quote, is it appeared in a Tampa newspaper in 1882. And because sometimes good things take time, 127 years later, we finally got our act together and opened the Tampa Bay History Center. So Judge Knapp would be proud. In the interim, in the 1940s, the state legislature of Florida authorized the creation of historical commissions on a county level. And that essentially allowed county governments to use certain tax monies to create and place historical markers, fund historical societies, museums, and the like. Hillsborough County set up their historical commission and funded a small museum in the old county courthouse. Some of you may remember that museum. Apparently it was a very popular place to hang out if you had jury duty. Not a lot of people beyond that, I think, went there. It was overseen by some very dedicated volunteers who were taking care of materials with very loving hands, but often didn't have the training to really care for the materials in the way in which they should. And there is a famous story, and you all will appreciate this. Hillsborough County Commissioner Jan Platt was walking through that museum one day, and she saw the oldest map, circa late 1840s, of Tampa, thumbtacked to the wall. And she said, all right, something has to be done. So she gathered